All right, guys, today we are going to do a review and a tasting of Little Book, The Infinite. Let's see how it is. So I was given a sample of Little Book, The Infinite by Baker Drinks, and I thought it only fitting to have their pour in their glass. So thank you, Baker Drinks, so much for sending this over. Let's get this in the glass, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. So if you guys don't know what Little Book is, it is a part of Jim Beam, right? The Bookers, all of them. But it is more of an exploratory, experimental type series. I've never actually had Little Book, any of the Little Books. But this one to me was super intriguing because this is called the Infinite, right? And it's the Infinity Blend, and they are going to continue every batch they do. They're going to take most of the whiskey out of the blend, leaving some behind, adding new, I don't know how much, 50%. I tried to do some research on it, but it's very vague on what they do, and I don't have the bottle right here. I'll try to have a picture of it on the screen, but I don't have the bottle right here for me to look at the specs on it, and I'm sorry. If you guys know the specs to this specific one, the proof on this is 119.3. So if you guys know the specs on this this bottle, and Troy, if you're watching this, if you could put those down at the bottom. All I know is I was told that this has a high malt content. They do single malts and stuff like that as well. And as you guys well know, I'm big on single malt. So let's get into the nose. We are going to rate this, but this is one of the bigger brands that I don't normally do reviews for bigger brands. So let's get into it. The nose it smells super dank in a good way, right? It's like old books, like when you have a stack of old books and they're just like leather bound books, old library. It has like this cordial cherry, like around Christmas time you get those cherries, chocolate covered cherries with the cordial stuff in the middle. They're super sweet, super all creamy on the inside. They're kind of strange until you try them and you're like, oh, these are pretty good. I'm getting some of that on the nose as well. All right, I'm going to go in on the taste. I'm not going to keep you guys all night. I know you got other things to do. Let's go. And that is dusty. Man. Okay. It coats for sure. It is coating the glass as well. It's very coating. It's very viscous. It's very thick. A lot of cherry vanilla cola. Wow, that's awesome. I do, and this might just be subjective, guys. This might be just me putting it out there, but I do taste that higher malt content, I guess you could say. It's coming across really creamy, really unctuous, as we say. Yeah, let's rate this thing real fast and see what we. All right, so I rate my whiskeys on nose, taste, finish, and would I buy again. So there's a total of 40 points you can get on a particular bottling. And I know the last one I did like this, I did not give the highest marks. So I'm hoping that this Little Book can redeem me for sure. There is a fly flying around the shed, and he is making me very upset. Or she, whoever it is, making me very upset. Let's get in on the nose. Okay. I'm not going to say a whole lot. I'm just going to try and get in there and see. It is very bourbon-esque, if that makes any sense. It's dark, very rich, viscous, molasses, a little bit of tobacco. I'm going to give that an 8.5. 8.5. And I'll have it up there. You guys. Okay, now on to taste. Now, taste is subjective, obviously. So, what you're tasting, what I'm tasting, it all has to do with what you ate, what you drank for the day. This is the first drink of the day. All of those things are factored into the actual drink. Okay, so when you take a taste of it, it might not taste the same as it did yesterday or tomorrow. You're tasting it in this time right now, so take that for granted. Okay. You see the fly? Pissing me off. Okay. It's oaky. I guess peanutty, as a lot of people say. Okay. I'm going to give that an 8. Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8. Now let's look at the finish. But on the finish, I talk too much, and so I don't actually let the finish go down. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I have to have another drink. So let's go ahead on that. I'm going to give it the whole shebang, because that's what we do, right? If you're going to give it true tastings, you want to make sure that you're giving it its full. And then what I'll do is I'll pause and I'll sit with this and make sure that those numbers are exactly where I want them. And then if I alter them at all, you guys will know. I started doing that because I don't, sometimes you have to sit with a whiskey and it has to open up and you got to acclimate to it and stuff like that. I don't want to just give rushed review on it. You know what I mean? All right, finish. Definitely gives you the Kentucky hug. Apricot, but stewed apricots, where they're kind of like sweetened apricots. Molasses, black cherry. Okay, I'm tentatively going to give that an 8 as well. I'm going to pause and then go through it one more time, and then I'll tell you if I would buy again, which I didn't buy it, but just to let you know, I'm going to pause real fast. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. It took me about 5-6 minutes to get through it again. I'm not going to change anything on there. I think it's right where it needs to be. The last time I went through it, I still have very, very little bit in the glass left. The last time I went through it, I thought it was almost finished on the finish. I was getting a little bit of sherry or something like that, like a dark fruit on the finish. So, but I am going to leave it at 8 because there is some, I'm not going to say overly tannic, but it is very wood forward on its profile, which some people love that. And I'm not a beaver, I'm not one of those ones that just goes after the most woodiest whiskeys I can find. So would I buy again? I did not buy this, so I can't buy it again. But would I buy this? Yes, I would. At an appropriate price. I would love. I still have some in the sample, and I'm going to enjoy that. Thank you, Laura and Troy, for giving me this sample. But would I like to sit with a bottle of it and watch it open up and the neck? Because people say the neck pour, and you want to let it oxidize, and all of those things. Yes, I would, for a price. If it's $150, $160, no. $80, maybe. But I think it is more expensive than that. So would I buy again? Yes. I'm going to give it, just because I know it's going to be more expensive, I'm going to give it an 8 as well. So total is, yeah. It's a great whiskey. It's a great whiskey. I'm glad that I have it. I'm glad that I was able to have a sample of it, and I thank them again so much for sending the sample. It's not really my profile. I don't. Jim Beam is good. Their whole brand is great, but it's just, to me, it's very wood forward. There's not a lot of complexity in the actual spirit. It's more you taste wood than you taste the spirit, which is fine if you're into stuff like that. This one just didn't hit, and I wanted it to. So I'm hoping that later on, the later evolutions of this bottling are going to get more and more complex, and more maybe out of the bourbon wheelhouse. And I hate to say that because it's a great bourbon. Don't get me wrong, but out of that wheelhouse of like, it's oak, cherry, vanilla, all those things. Like, I want it to be a little bit more complex and open up, and you get some grain notes even, and some, I get like dusty corn, which that's bourbon, right? But like, I don't get like the maltiness. I was expecting more maltiness since this is supposed to have a higher malt content. I was expecting more maltiness from it. Now, great bottle. Yes, I would love to have it. If somebody were to gift it to me or something like that, I would enjoy it thoroughly. I'm not saying that. So, I wanted to let you guys know that I now have my own Glencairns if you guys want one, and I still have challenge coins available, and they just happen to fit on top of the Glencairn. So, if you guys want one of those, make sure you comment down below. Hit me up at Whiskeyshamanpodcast@gmail.com. I'm trying to work on a store. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But if you like what I do, please follow, like, subscribe, and everything that I'm doing. And if you want to support monetarily, patreon.com/thewhiskeyshaman, and you can do that for as little as $1 a month. But that $5 and $10 tiers, that's going to give you some good stuff. I just sent Christmas packages to all the Patreons, and they were catered to the specific profile of the person. I don't know if I've ever said that. They're catered to the people that I'm sending them to. So if you are a bourbon hound, I'm going to send you bourbon. I'm not going to send you a peated scotch, right? But if you are a world whiskey person with all types, I'm going to give you some cool stuff that I've been drinking on. You know what I mean? So I'm going to cater it to you. And if you're new into whiskey and you just love following stuff like that, I have easy options to where it's not going to burn your palate out. You're not going to get cask strength whiskeys and stuff like that. So if you want to do that, go over there and check that out. But y'all be good. Drink a bunch of water. Love your family. And until next time, keep your spirits up. Peace out.